Hey, welcome back to yet another episode of Road Noise. I'm sure glad you're hanging out with Dad and I as we kind of reflect back on all these years of ministry that has committed your life to this work. And it's just fun to catch up and see where the road is taking you these days. And I'm looking forward to where we're going tonight.
Hey, tonight we're going to head just north of Lansing. Yeah, so I'm not going too far. I know Saturday I've got to do a Just Kidding program at a church over in Detroit. But well, anyway, for this episode, I thought let's come back from a program that I did, a Just Kidding program, at a church north of Lansing. And things went well there at that church. And well, anyway, so I'm on my way back. And I'm sure that most everybody that's listening or watching this, especially if you have kids, are probably familiar with, let's call it a game you might play. If you're going down the road and there's a dead skunk in the middle of the road. So, Kedron, if you were driving down the road and you had your kids and you see a dead skunk, what would you do or what would you say?
Yeah, something like dead skunk in the middle of the road. I want it.
I to it,
I three it.
I for it,
I five it.
I six it,
I seven it.
I ate it. Okay, I ate the dead skunk in the middle of the road. Anyway, so if you have kids, I'm sure you've played that game, and if not, I'm glad that we were able to introduce that to you, so that the next time you see a dead anything in the middle of the road, you can do that with your kids. Well, here I am, and there's nobody else with me except my rabbit, and we're headed back. And there was not a dead skunk in the middle of the road. I'd gone south on the road that I was on until I was able to get to the interstate. And this would be Interstate 69 on the north side of Lansing, and I'm going to be heading west on I-69. Okay, so some of you, if you're avid travelers, know that Interstate 69 doesn't go east and west. The way they number the highways, the interstates with even numbers go east and west, and odd numbers go north-south. And I'm on Interstate 69 heading west. It's one of those real odd places. I think it's the only place in the entire map system of the United States where an odd number does go east and west. Now, for most of its route, it does go north and south. But if you're headed north on 69, when you get to Lansing, it makes this huge bend. And there used to be a sign there that said I-69 north turns into I-69 east. And on the other side of Lansing, right before you get to that big turn, there was a sign that said I-69 south becomes I-69 west. Well, anyway, I was hoping to get a picture of that sign, but they've taken it down now and it's just I-69. And I think it was so confusing to people that said, wait a minute, 69 can't go east-west. But anyway, that's where I am. I had just gotten on the interstate and I'm headed west and I just got up to speed. It's dark out, not any darker than any other night, but I really can't see as far down the road as I would like. And just as I'm getting up to speed, another car had pulled up behind me, but they're over in the left-hand lane, and so they're going to pass. Well, just about the time they get right beside me, I noticed something in the middle of the road. But it wasn't a dead skunk. It was a big deer. Dead deer laying in the middle of the road. And I've got the car on the left side of me, so I can't get over. And I really don't want to go to the right on the shoulder because I don't want to end up in the ditch. And so I figured, okay, quick decision here. Hang on to the wheel. We're going over it. I can't actually say that all four wheels in that van were up in the air at the same time. But I'm pretty sure that the front two were in the air, and then a split second later, the back two were in the air. And when we came down on the other side of that deer, I have to admit it was a rough ride. By this time, the car beside me is just barely in front of me. But hey, we're clear. I'm sure that that rabbit that was riding with me is probably saying, "What in the world is going on?" Because that was one of the roughest rides I think we had ever taken together. But as I have thought about that dead deer and many dead deer over the years and all along the highways here in Michigan, I have been so thankful that God has provided a way for that stuff to get cleaned up. If you go back to the story of David and Goliath, what is it that David said to Goliath? I'm going the birds are going to feast on your carcass. And if it wasn't for the birds, our whole country would be a stinking mess. But man, those birds do a good job. It probably wasn't more than the next morning that I'm sure that there was a flock of birds that spotted that dead deer and got busy doing what God created them to do, clean up the mess. Well, anyway, so if you're headed down the road and see something in the middle of the road, I won it.
I know how this game works, so I'm not going to play anymore because I don't want to eat it. Yeah, it probably took me till I was, 15 to figure out how that game worked.
But it gets more complicated when you have more kids in the car.
True. Yes, exactly.
I mean, someone ones it, someone twos it, and next thing someone threes it, and you're trying to figure out, okay, when's it going to be my turn? I don't want to be the. Oh well,
Yeah.
fun times.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good memory for sure. Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
make memories on the road.
yeah, for sure. That's a wild one there with the dead deer. And that's a terrifying thing too. I know that every time that I'm out and about, especially at night, it's constant scanning, looking for those critters, because I don't want to hit one, whether they're alive or not.
You don't have to necessarily hit them. They're not afraid to hit you.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
your
wild.
mom had one ran right into the passenger door. I mean, it's like, hey, didn't you see us coming?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's park it here. And like I said, I headed to Detroit on Saturday, and so probably come back with another road noise story.
Yeah, I bet you will. Sounds great. We'll park here. Pick it up again next week.